sketchyGOichie.
Hello everybody, welcome to another sketchyGOichie. I'm your host, Roger Andrews. I'm the artist of these wacky little videos. In this one I'm doing kind of a tribute piece to our local legend. When I say our, I'm coming from transmitting live from Massachusetts. So when I say our, Boston Red Sox absolute legend, Big Papi, David Ortiz, future Hall of Famer, if he's not already. Obviously not a huge baseball fan, but if you're in Massachusetts, matter of fact, greater New England, you gotta love, well, maybe not parts of Connecticut, the ones closest to New York, but the rest of us in New England gotta love the Red Sox, and of course we all love Big Papi. And so I kind of resurfaced this image from my archives to kind of do a little sort of art demo walkthrough with you. And so love Big Papi. Decided to bring it back. He's going through it right now. You know, if you watch the news, and I wish him and his family nothing but the best. So this is my little contribution of goodwill towards David Ortiz. So speaking of David Ortiz, I wanted to show you this. Whenever I do these sort of portrait images, the emphasis I always want to stress is particularly that of total and complete emphasis on the likeness. And how I achieve that likeness is, obviously I have great photo reference, which you ask anyone who does portraits, you know, the better the photo reference or the better the live reference is, absolute better the result. You know, so if the lighting is good and if the contrast is good in that photo, you're going to have a much better result. And so as you can see here, I mean, you really can't beat that photo. It is a composite of, you know, once we zoom back out, you kind of see there's a composite of maybe 3 or 4 different photos. The face is one. I think I got the helmet from another sourced another image. His body position I adjusted slightly so it kind of matched the space that I was working within, and that's how I kind of was able to kind of get the look and feel of what I was going for by using good reference. I should mention at this point I use Procreate for this, and for pretty much just about every drawing that I've posted here on this channel. You know, send me feedback if you want me to see me do some kind of what I've affectionately referred to as real world sketches. You know, actually pen or pencil on paper. I can definitely set up my rig. I've got a little iPhone on a tripod rig, and I can definitely do some live sketches. By live I mean you know, actually me pressing graphite to a paper surface sketches, and I could definitely do those as well, and I can share those. Just, you know, throw something up in the comments to let me know. As you can see here, I zoomed out, and in doing so you can kind of see the little cuts in the reference, and that just represents me kind of shifting the arm over and shifting the body position a bit. And I think I used that arm on the right is a different arm from a different photograph, and as I mentioned earlier, the head is different, so is the helmet. So that's the composite, but I got the shape I want to do in the layout within that space, which obviously is another essential element to go along with the likeness of the person you're attempting to do a portrait of. And you know, I mentioned it in the previous video as well, that for me, working from photographic reference to achieve that, which is essentially, you know, for lack of a better way to describe it, artful tracing, it is, I feel, is totally acceptable. It allows me to kind of get a handle on the anatomy and get a handle on the facial and physical features that make that particular illustration look like the person. The subject is, you can't capture it any better than from a photograph. I mean, obviously, you know, ideally in a perfect artistic world, you would draw from life, like literally still life or live models. That is the absolute perfect way to learn and to get better at it. Trust me guys, I've spent my time. I put my time in doing, working from live models, and something I have, and I do it again. Is in every, well, not every, but most communities there is an opportunity, to do, adult classes, or if you're a college age student, there's, take every anatomy class and every live drawing class you can, and still life drawing class you can, to kind of really learn this. But not that I've mastered it, but I've certainly gotten to a point where I'm confident that if I'm rendering from a photograph, I can still bring some of my own artistic elements to it. And that's why when you see these portrait sketches, I'd like to think they've got some sort of comic booky flavor and flair to them, that I've added to, it's not just me, photoshopping a bunch of images, or in Procreate manipulating images and just literally just doing a pure trace on top of it. Hopefully you guys feel the love that I try to infuse in them. Enough of the defensiveness. Technique wise, photos on one layer, just another layer. I create another layer on top and do the line art, and then and that is pretty much it. I think I may do, in this case, a new layer underneath, which you'll start seeing. I create a new layer underneath, so that way I can do sort of the textured background. All right, here's me zooming in. I do a little final touches on the Red Sox logo on his jersey, and then you see me adding the texture, and that texture, I believe, is just sort of a probably a graphite, one of the Photoshop, the Procreate graphite pencils. And that's that. It's really 3 or 4 layers, sketching, and that is that. So again, big up to Big Papi. Get well, sketchyGOichie. Live your moment. Leave comments. Subscribe. Happy sketching, y'all. Peace.